Have you ever tried teaching a class in Minecraft Education but felt more like a zookeeper than a teacher? We've all experienced that one student that discovered that TNT exists and decided to teach a class in chaos theory instead of whatever we were trying to teach, right? That's exactly why we made Educator Tools. This is a free open source add-on that allows you to manage your classroom effortlessly without typing a command. Let me show you how it works. Alright, first things first, we are going to add Educator Tools to this world. So for this, we are going to go to Resource Packs, go to My Packs. There you can see Educator Tools. Of course, you have to have downloaded beforehand. You can find the link of that in the description and install it. You can follow all of the installation guides on the GitHub page. But within Minecraft, you go to Resource Packs, My Packs, Educator Tools, and then click Activate. And in this world, you're going to see that we have a little toolbox in our inventory. This is the Educator Toolbox. You can just right click it to open it. And here you can see all of the Educator tools straight away. So right now there is teleport, game mode, timer, world settings, and lock players. Within all of these, there's a couple of extra menus, but let's just dive right in. I'm going to start off by looking at the world settings. This is a modal form where you can select a lot of different world settings. So do you not want creepers in your world? You can just turn them off. Do you want creepers in your world, but you don't want them to blow up and damage anyone's creations? You can turn that off. Keep inventory is useful if your game revolves around dying quite often. So it can be useful to keep all the items in your inventory after you die. Or your players die. In-game, of course. Daylight cycle is pretty self-explanatory, where now the world goes to day and night. I tend to like having it off so that it's always bright and sunny, but that's just me. And actually talking about sunny, we have the weather cycle as well, which you can turn on and off. If you just want it sunny, let's just leave it off. An immediate respawn, also if your game revolves around dying a lot and trial and error, that can be useful, that you just instantly respawn in the dedicated spot for that. Otherwise, you can leave that off. And then whether or not you want command blocks and world damage on. If you've got kids that know a little bit about Minecraft, I would recommend turning command blocks off. Of course, if your world doesn't run on them. If it does, you will have to leave this on. If it doesn't, I recommend turning this off. Same with world damage, that's TNT exploding. You know, those kids love TNT. If they can find some, you might want to turn that off. The next thing we'll be looking at is game modes. This is really easy, whether or not you want to set the game modes of you, a specific player, or all players in the world. So if I'm currently in a single player world, you will probably use this in a multiplayer world. You will see the names of all the players within your world here. But if you just want to change your own game mode, here you can just say, I want to set my own game mode to survival, adventure, or creative. Pretty self-explanatory. If you want to select the game mode of everyone within the world to that, that also works. So let's set everyone to creative mode or everyone to adventure mode. This is going to be really helpful, and it also does a quick confirmation message. Next thing we'll be looking at is teleport. Teleport is super useful if you've got kids that love running off or not following instructions, and you need them all to be around you in the world. There's another tool in this toolbox that is really useful for this feature, but a teleport is a bit more immediate. So let's look at that. Do you want to teleport all players or specific players to you? Let's say you want to teleport all players, and then it will say, to who do you want to teleport? Right now, because I'm in a single player world, it will only teleport to me, but it is now saying all players have been teleported to me. Awesome. This of course also applies to me teleporting to a specific player. Again, single player world, but if this is a multiplayer game, you will see the list of players here that I can teleport to. Very useful if you want to check up on some students that are maybe up to no good. In a very similar fashion, we have the lock players tool. This is a bit more of a complex feature, but it is super powerful. So we can lock players into a certain area. So we can have multiple modes. We have a center mode or an around me mode. A center mode is where you set a specific point within the world that players have to be in a certain circle of. So let's say it's center, and the radius of that is around 160 blocks. So this will mean that players will have to be in 160 blocks radius of a specific point that I set. So this toggle allows you to either stop players at the edge of your area that you've dedicated, or have them teleport back to the center. Depending on what you want to do, both options can be useful. And we just activate lock players and submit. So here we can set the center where I am right now, and that's done. And now all players will be locked within a 160 block radius of this area. You can of course also just set this to around me. That means that this 160 block, or however big you want to make this, it's always in size of chunks, will move around me. So if players are in a 80 block radius or exiting an 80 block radius around me, they get teleported back to me. That can be super useful if there's players wandering off, or if they've just gone lost. Very useful. Educator Tools right now is available in 10 different languages. I'll put them on screen right now. And last but not least, there is the timer function. Again, super useful if you're doing stuff like build challenges. This will allow you to set a custom timer. So right now there's options for 30 seconds, and then 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and a lot longer. So if you want to set a specific build challenge for 5 minutes, players will get 5 minutes to build. You hit submit and say, well, let's start the timer. And then it will run a timer at the top of your screen. You can, of course, always pause or delete this timer, or also hide the timer entity. So you can always see this entity in the world with the timer on it. You can go and hide this. Of course, with the hide timer entity, you will still see it in the boss bar on top. If you just want to stop the timer or delete the timer, that's also, of course, entirely possible. It will ask you to confirm, but let's do that. And that's it. Educator Tools, ready to turn your classroom into a well-oiled machine. Sometimes with still a little bit of chaos, but the good kind. Oh, and have I mentioned that it's open source? That means that you can suggest features, tell us how to improve it, and share it with your colleagues and take all the credit. If you've got any questions, suggestions, I'd love to see them in the comments, or tag us on our socials. Happy crafting, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.